Hello and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast with myself and Ben. We're going to talk game week 12 so far, but we've still got a few more games to go in midweek action, but we're going to preview game week 13 as well. Tony's disappeared. I've come back. But Ben, you're the consistent. How have you been?
All right, mate. Yeah, good. Looking forward to this one. You had a good holiday?
Yeah, made it through my little international break. It was actually only in the UK, but yeah, nice to have a little chill out. I said, done a good job to sync my holidays with the international breaks. That's how to do it. That's dedication.
I seen you in your jacuzzi.
Yeah, chilling in the snow. I was saying I was up north, but I was in Lincolnshire, and everyone in the Discord told me that doesn't count as up north. That's up north for Essex people. We're gonna preview game week 13 in this episode. We'll go through our team updates as always as well. But we've got pretty good turnout in the chat here. So I'll just say hello to a few people there. We've got Mr. H. We've got YouTube channel member Steve Ricks, Roberto, Miss Noopy, Ian, Eggsy is there. We've got Graham, C Partridge. We've got Andy Barnett, Mark. Good evening, everyone. Decent turnout, that. We've got the Newcastle West Ham game on at the moment, haven't we? Currently, it's at 1-0 to West Ham. So maybe Lopetegui will still be in charge for the Arsenal game next week. That's what I didn't want to happen. New manager bounce. But how's your week been so far?
70 points. Get the team up. Yeah, 70 points. I've got Martinez on 3. I brought in Mazraoui for the injured Trent Alexander-Arnold. Got the 0.3 rise as well. He got 4 points. Gomez, just a 2. Gvardiol -1, but still got 1 game left. Saka, 14 points. Arsenal keep doing me over every time I bring one in.
I couldn't believe that, honestly.
Yeah, so I had a discussion with Scott and I was like, I'm thinking about bringing Martinelli in because he's going up 0.3 and he's been doing all right. And then I can move him on again next week for the double Premier League week, but get the price rise out of him. And he didn't start and he didn't even come on. So he must be saving him for the Sporting game, hopefully.
It was a really strange lineup, wasn't it? The whole Havertz was benched, Martinelli benched, Rice and Partey both benched as well. Yeah, it's a really strange one.
Yeah, same thing happened when I brought in Trossard for the Southampton game. He was starting all the games, and then when I bring him in, he didn't start that game, and then he just went on a really crap run of not scoring.
Yeah, he's still got Sporting. I imagine that he must be starting that one.
It'll be a tough match, that. Foden, 4 points. Bruno Fernandes, 3. Garnacho, 3. Salah captain, 34 points. And Haaland, 4.
How set were you on the Salah cap? Because it was a tough decision for everyone. What was your thinking? Just the form player?
I was on Salah pretty much all the way through. And until I started seeing more and more people going, but Haaland's got 2 games and he's bound to turn it around and all this. Spurs have got loads of injuries. So I was sort of thinking about it, but then I just thought, like, Southampton, the missing players, the keeper's injured. So I thought I'll stick it on him. And then Salah at home against Real Madrid in Champions League. I thought, well, Barcelona done them over, didn't they? And Liverpool are on form, so I think they can still do them over at home. So I went for the man in form.
Yeah, it's been covered to death on pretty much all the fantasy football podcasts. But yeah, the swings between the two has just been crazy, really. When I don't think the actual performances have been massively apart. Like Haaland had so many chances, I thought, in that Spurs game that he would normally put away. I think he's hit the crossbar in like 3 Premier League matches back to back or hit the woodwork. Sorry,
Yeah.
Salah, you would have. I mean, I don't know if you watched the Liverpool game or not, but like late on into the game, I was thinking he's actually going to blank here.
No, I didn't watch it, luckily, so I didn't get to suffer the pain. I just turned it. I seen time I looked at my phone and I seen 2 notifications. Mo Salah, Mo Salah. I was like, get in.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And he hit the post at the end as well, didn't he? Could have had a
Yeah.
hat trick.
The only consolation was getting a yellow card for taking his shirt off. That was just about just about it.
Yeah.
But no, a decent week there, really. So,
He
your
saved
boy,
my week, really.
what's that?
He saved my week, really. It's been a bit poor, really. Paul Saka's done all right. That's about it.
Tito
Gomez.
I was laughing.
And especially with winning 4-1 as well. I think get no extra points. It's a shame.
Yeah, I felt bad on that one.
He did me proud last week, though. 8 points.
Yeah, it's been a good one. And I mean, if you are looking to solve a problem again for the cheap price, keeps walking that 4 yellow card tightrope, but getting through it, the same as quite a few players now. So may not be enough to put you off. I sort of said to a few people that I liked Dawson because he didn't have the yellow cards, and he went downhill right before the game started. So that obviously didn't go to plan. We got the same points this week, despite having completely different captains and pretty different teams. We said we were going to put our ranks on our names, but we didn't do it. Where are you currently?
I've had a red arrow. I'm 255th down to 308th so far.
That's not too bad.
Just a slight one.
You've got the full team though, expected to play really, apart from Gomez.
Yeah, it's 10 more games. 10 more games to go.
Yeah, my week 70 points. Small red arrow, but nothing too major. I think I went from 69th to 74th, so not a real loss. I thought it was going to be bad when I saw the Salah points and obviously the fouled Haaland captaincy. But this week I bought in Muric for sells, so I really wanted to bring the price down on my keeper. Obviously, Muric not going to be the best keeper, but sells had Arsenal this weekend. Couldn't face to watch him playing against my own team. I was literally 7 rows back from behind the goal as well, so had a front row seat for it. But yeah, made £1 million on Sells.
How many points did Sells get?
I think he was on 1 point. I think it was. Yeah, 1 pointer. Sells. So I've got 4 points out of Muric so far. I've got the double Man United defence, which even though they conceded, still didn't come away empty-handed. So Dalot with 5 and Mazraoui with 4. And then Gvardiol -1. I didn't think he had a bad game either, to be honest. Apart from the obviously giving away the big mistakes, he still got forward quite well. But obviously defending, not so great. Saka 14, Bruno Fernandes 3, Foden 4, all the same as yours. I've still kept with Kulusevski for now, and he got an assist, playing really well at the moment. And I went early on Palmer, so I wanted to try and maybe get ahead because I think he's obviously going to be really popular next week. I wanted to try and get ahead on Palmer, even though it was just a single. So obviously Muric funded that move. I was torn between him and Pedro. I wanted to have both by next week, and I didn't know which one to go for. Pedro had the rise come in, but I was still a little bit unsure whether he definitely would start, seeing as he didn't start the last game. So I went Palmer anyway. Obviously didn't go to plan that. Haaland with the captaincy. I feel like it was unlucky again. I don't really regret doing it, but yeah, the point's not quite there. And then Salah with the 17. So yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I saw Salah go off. But overall, yeah, not too bad. You got your initial thoughts for next week?
Well, I was pretty set on getting Palmer in. I probably will still get him in, and then I'll just don't know yet. Have a look, see what happens midweek. Really, probably could downgrade the keeper now with with a cheaper goalie. We can talk about that later on in the pod. But yeah, at the moment, I can't think of anything else. I don't really want to sell Gvardiol, and I mean, he could have a good game in midweek, and then he'll probably be staying up or going up in price. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we've got a lot of questions on the City guys, so we might as well just get straight into the questions, and I think that our thoughts will come out then. Before we move on to the questions, obviously shout out all the guys that are in the chat. It's a combination of our Patreon members and our new YouTube channel members. If you'd like to become a Patreon member or YouTube member, on YouTube, I think you just have to hit the I think it's the subscribe, no, not subscribe button, join button underneath the video. Or if you do want to join via Patreon, you get a few more features via Patreon. But both of them get access to the Discord, and that's patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Let's go straight into these questions. I've got the fixture ticker. We'll come back to that in a sec. First question from CCFC Jack 96. Move on Gvardiol this week, as City have been atrocious. What are you making of City at the minute after that result against Spurs?
I don't know. Strange, isn't it? I can't see it happening much more longer. I mean, I think they'll win midweek, and then they'll go into Liverpool a bit more confident. But I still fancy Liverpool to beat Man City next week. Then they've got Forest, Crystal Palace, Juventus away, Man United at home. So yeah, I mean, he can get a goal out of nothing, can't he? As well, especially. Like, people have got Man City defenders in the team, and then when Gvardiol scores, it's pretty sweet, because then the City defenders are all losing their clean sheets while he's getting a goal. So yeah, he's predicted to go down 0.3 at the moment, but yeah, I don't really want to sell him. I'm happy to have him in my team. If I was picking a team from scratch now, I'd probably still put him in there.
Yeah, it's just the price. Well, it's not just the price, because they have been poor at the back as well. But I think you're a bit like me. Like you kind of just can't believe it, and you think each week, oh, it's going to end now. It's going to end now. I've waited 2 seasons for Man City to finally start losing some games, and now it's here. I'm like, oh, what? Surely it's going to stop. Yeah, I can't think that it's going to carry on. But without Rodri and Kovacic, the defense does look all over the place, doesn't it? I don't think I'm going to sell him yet, but I can see the appeal. Next week, if you do want Palmer, I know you can downgrade your keeper, but if you had to downgrade a defender at the minute, it might not be the worst idea just to do it that week.
Yeah, you could downgrade him if he does go down 0.3, and then leave. Obviously, you miss the Liverpool and Forest game, and then you could get him for a bit cheaper if you wanted to bring him back in 14. So you could get him for like 4.3 then, couldn't you? It was quite cheap.
Yeah, I can't see him getting anything against Liverpool.
But if I sold him, I don't think I'd buy him back for a little bit. Just because they're not in the Carabao Cup either now, are they?
No. The only thing you would say is you expect him probably to play all of the games, wouldn't you? The situation they're in. He's hardly the weak link. Yeah. Not the best looking fixtures, but I think I will stick with him as well, unless I really need to downgrade elsewhere. But I guess it depends what happens this week. If they keep a clean sheet in the next game, I think we're a fickle bunch, aren't we? We'd probably forget about it. 12th man Palmer this week. You said you might transfer him in. You've already used 12th man, haven't you?
Yeah. Right, so yeah, 12th man this week's all right. If you've only got 12th man left, I think it's a good week to use it. Palmer's probably a very good one to use it on as well, because he's looking like he's going to be going down in price again. So if you want to keep building budget, Palmer's going to probably go down 0.1 anyway. I do like the look of the Brighton striker, Joao Pedro, for this double. Southampton and Fulham. But if you brought him in as a normal transfer, you could get a 0.2 rise out of him as well. 0.2, 0.3 rise probably. And then if he gets stuck with him, he just got Leicester in a single, so it's not too bad. And also Matthias Cunha, he's probably going to go up 0.3 again, so I'd probably want to transfer him in for next week rather than 12th man him.
Yeah.
But like I say, if you end up keeping him, then he's only got a single against West Ham after this double. He's got Bournemouth and Everton this week. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a solid plan. I've got him already, so I'm going to be obviously keeping him. But I bought him in on a drop. I'm now going to get another drop. So, like, yeah, if you were put off by the budget thing, definitely looks a way to go. Yeah, I like the other two you've mentioned, though. Cunha and Pedro just on fire, aren't they? So I think you'd rather transfer them in.
Yeah.
You thought about any boosters this week? Or what have you got left? Are you just goal bonus now?
No, I've used my goal burst, haven't I? I've got max captain left. Yeah, so I am considering using it this week because there's quite a lot of reds for the top sides on the fixture ticker. There's a lot of hard fixtures, so it's going to be tricky to pick a captain. If I had Palmer in my team and I had to pick one, I probably would pick Palmer as the captain this week, though, with Aston Villa at home and Southampton away. But then it'd probably be, don't know, like if you had Cunha or Joao Pedro, would be a good week to captain them as well. If you want to go differential, but then you got to consider Salah's form as well. I know it's Man City at home and Newcastle away, but he's been doing pretty well, and he can get goals from points from chances created. He gets assists. He's doing brilliant, isn't he? So, yeah,
plenty of choice. We've actually skipped ahead. I didn't realise that was Gromer's question below, but yeah, I am actually thinking of using it this week because I think I'm gonna. Well, you see my team. I moved to that cheap keeper with that in mind. So I've got Saka, Bruno, Foden, Palmer, Haaland, Salah. I'm trying to squeeze an extra player in there, probably Pedro. I did think about Havertz, but after that benching, I'll have to wait and see, or even Cunha, perhaps.
Who would you move on for them then?
I think it'd have to be Kulusevski. I've always planned for it to be Kulusevski. I tried to sort of plan a couple of weeks ahead, just in my head, but yeah, obviously he's got another good week now. But we'll see what happens in midweek. There's still time, isn't there? Yeah, I like that 12th man. Graham, our mind game's the way to go to give you the edge on your rivals. Like a bit of mind games? Or do you ignore it?
Well, it depends who it is, isn't it? If there's someone who annoys you, then yeah. But yeah, I try not to engage really. Obviously, there's always someone who tries to wind you up in your mate's WhatsApp group or whatever.
I definitely used to be much more on the mind games. I mean, before I met you guys and started doing content and stuff like that, privately with my group of mates, we always used to do it. We used to make up that people were injured. I'm pretty handy with Photoshop, and I even photoshopped some Sky News articles before and made out that someone was injured when they wasn't. That was when I started getting accused of taking things too far. But yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it as long as it's taken well. City players, we've pretty much, I think we're on the same wavelength. I'm not ready to take mine out. I know the form has been awful with 5 losses in a row, but we've got another game to see. You got Foden as well. Are you in the same boat with Foden? Willing to give him a bit more time?
Yeah, Foden, Gvardiol and Haaland. I'm quite optimistic they'll do well midweek. So this form can change very quickly, so I'm happy to hold. Unless you need the money, obviously, for something else. But I mean, I don't want to move on to Haaland, Foden.
Yeah,
probably won't want to move on Gvardiol either.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him a bit more time. I can understand if you if you're desperate for the cash and you wanted like a Palmer this week and you had to lose someone, like I'd maybe lose a Foden to try and fit Palmer. I do think Palmer's fixtures that look that good this week, but if you can keep him and you can afford to keep him, I would still be keeping him personally. David F, if you could choose one of Jackson, Cunha, or Joao Pedro for the next, how many weeks does that say? For the next week, who'd you go with? So for game week 13, so let's bring up the fixtures. So Pedro, Cunha, or Jackson?
For me, I'd go Cunha. I just think he's unbelievable at the moment, and he's flying. I do like the Southampton fixture for Joao Pedro, but I just think Cunha's more of a talisman for his team than Joao Pedro is. I think Joao Pedro could easily be like rested in one of their matches because they've got a lot of options at Brighton, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've got the young
depth.
lad. They've got the Ferguson as well, who could just come in for a game. Welbeck's doing all right. They got Rutter, obviously Mitoma, and they've got Andigra. What's the other one as well? He's just come from Newcastle.
Minte.
Yeah. So they like. I know they're not centre forwards, but they all play like the forward line. But yeah, and then Jackson for me, he's all right, yeah. But I just think the same again. He could easily miss one, and then Kunku could come in. So I wouldn't do that one. I'd do the Cunha move.
The Jackson one for me. I mean, if you've got him, you obviously do keep hold of him. But it's the 4 yellows thing worries me. I know some people may just if it happens, it happens. But where it's a double game week, I feel like if they pick it up in that first fixture, you'll be well annoyed, won't you? If you've ended up with a single game week player when you could have. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I probably wouldn't move to Jackson just in case. But we have seen it, wasn't it? Was it Costa? A couple more than a couple back, but he stayed on the 4 yellows for ages and never got it. I remember last season having Gordon, and I said there was a double game week coming up, and he was on 4, and I was like, I'm just going to risk it, and he got it, and he got the yellow straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won't. I don't want to go that way with Jackson just because the yellows, but yeah, he's been playing really well. I would agree. I would put Cunha as the highest for the same reason. Like you just feel like if there's goals, it's more likely going to be him, whereas it could be spread with Brighton. But there's like 0.7 between them, and I think if you are strapped, I don't think there's that much in it. So I actually feel like I'm leaning more towards Pedro just for my team at the moment, budget wise. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either, to be honest. I did hear something. I was worried that maybe Pedro might not play both games in the double game week, maybe because the fixtures come in thick and fast. But it's a Friday deadline, and they're the Friday game.
Yeah.
And then the next game's not till the Wednesday, so they've actually got a bit of a bigger gap than some of the other teams. So it's not too bad. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those picks, really. Yeah, Nobbles in the chat also saying, surprised there's not much Jackson love. I think he's got Jackson in his team. Yeah. He has been good. I think it is. I think it's probably the cards that are putting people off. And I think people will be prioritising Palmer for the Chelsea games, won't they? For their Chelsea player. Right. Ian Curry. So what about Mazraoui? Is it time to cash out? I didn't get this one because it felt like he was bought in by the majority of people this week. So if it's just if it's based on just conceding the 1 goal against Ipswich, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to move him on. He's got decent fixtures coming up, so yeah, just keep him in there for now.
He did play as one of the sort of 3 centre backs, didn't he, rather than sort of a wing back? So maybe that's a little bit off-putting, but we don't know, do we? They had Martinez missing, and that Euro is not quite ready yet. So maybe once they're back, he might still be the wing back. So I think you got to give him more time, haven't you?
Yeah,
Seems
definitely.
a good price. Even to a few more late joiners. DG Bournemouth here, Mark Warner. Steve Ricks has got a question. He said he's just been listening to Nip and a Half. Fergie said he may be bringing in Ahmad this week. Any thoughts on Ahmad? I've not caught that yet.
We were talking about him on the Q&A last week on the Discord, and Patrick was on about bringing him in. I don't know if he did in the end, and I was warming to it as we were talking about it because there was no strikers that were standing out really, and I know it takes a striker spot, but he was quite interesting. But because I didn't know if he was gonna definitely start the games, I didn't go for it, but he was confident that Ahmad would start one of the two games this week, and there was no one really that stood out that was getting a price rise, and Ahmad was going to go up 0.3 anyway, so
Nice assist.
he was talking about doing that, so he would have got a nice 10-pointer out of him there, and he's doing all right on the bonus as well. I think he's got 6 bonus in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. If he gets to start in midweek as well.
Mm.
Most of us want 2 strikers, and it obviously, yeah, you're saying that we've been saying, oh, he's a striker, so we don't particularly want him. But I guess if most of us were on 2 anyway, it's not the end of the world. But now that Pedro and Cunha have sort of popped up,
it blocks it a bit, doesn't it?
I don't love that, to be honest. Steve's asking, did we not fancy a Stupinian, or did I not fancy a Stupinian this week after the hell he calls me last season? It's a nice price, isn't it?
Yeah, he went up 0.3, didn't he? He was only 2 million before this weekend.
I won't rule it out. It was quite fun, despite it not going well. DT Phillips, so he's bringing Palmer in for Gameweek 13. Would you use the other transfer to upgrade Kulusevski to Maddison or replace Kelleher? Maddison, you can't write that. Everything that's been happening these last couple of games has just been strange, isn't it? Like they didn't play. Did Maddison get dragged at like late in the West Ham game, or quite early in the West Ham game? Then he was dropped for Villa, and we assumed because they wanted more legs in midfield. So I definitely didn't think that Maddison would be playing or starting City. But yeah, smashed it. 2 goals. Was it 20 odd points?
4th highest scoring player in the game now. 2nd highest midfielder.
That's crazy.
He got a goal for those 6 minutes against Villa as well, didn't he, off the bench?
Yeah. Free kick, wasn't it?
It's just frustrating owning him because you don't know if he's going to start every match. And with them playing weakened teams in Europe as well. So, but when he does play, he's smashing it. I mean, you didn't expect him to get 2 goals, but he's averaging 7.4 per game. So it's decent. And he got 25 bonus now.
Do you think he'd start in the, say it's Fulham home, Bournemouth away? Do you think he starts on both?
Who knows? I think he'll start the next one, and then if he has a shit one, he'll be out again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends because if he needs more legs in midfield, he'll just bring one of the other lads on, Sarah or whatever. So it's tricky. I mean, if you're happy to put him in and he doesn't play, but he might come off the bench and get something, then go for it. But Kulusevski's not nailed either, is he really? So, but it's just if you put Maddison in, it might block you towards getting another really good player in your team because he's 4.5 million, and Kulusevski's only 3, so that's 1.5 million you could put towards another really good player, like if you need to get a Palmer in or I don't know, a top player in. But yeah, I'm a bit unsure about it.
I'm more confident that Kulu will start both Prem games than I am Maddison, I think.
Really?
But
okay. Yeah.
I think I just think he seems to be he doesn't seem to be the player that they sort of protect, or I feel like they're being careful with Maddison.
Yeah,
At
well, he is a
times.
bit injury prone.
But Maddison, hands down, is the better player. But
If Maddison was nailed, he'd be in everybody's team, wouldn't he?
yeah, definitely.
It's just getting him on the right time. He's a bit like Amara, isn't he? That used to just come in and out, but when he did play, he used to score points.
I would replace Kelleher though. I still think. I mean, I thought it was going to be this week that was going to be the week that Alisson would come back, but then we found out quite late that it was going to be another week or so, didn't we? But I probably would now move Kelleher on, but I can't believe the luck of that one. Conceding, but then saving the pen, getting the pen save points, wasn't it? And then still conceding.
Yeah. Well, we've had some breaking news, haven't we, in the last half an hour or so?
Yeah, go on.
What's his name? Vicario's injured, so looks like Fraser Forster's going to be coming in the team at 1.8 million. So Keller owners might get a bit lucky here. Might be able to move over.
Yeah, the timing's all right, isn't it? Like, I mean, a lot of us downgraded last week. I saw there's quite a lot of Muric goalkeepers now. I think quite a lot of people went the budget route. But yeah, now if you're game of the choice and I didn't have to use a transfer on it, I'd prefer Forster probably just for the extra couple of games. Who else did you like before Forster come on the scene?
I was liking the price of Vicario, but obviously he wasn't nailed in Europe because Forster's been playing a couple of the last games in Europe. But Vicario 3.1 million. And then the next one after that is Martinez, who's 3.9. I think he's probably the best cheap one because I say he's cheap. He's not that cheap, but cheaper Champions League goalie, and he's going to be nailed for 2 games a week.
He's only got 2. It's only one more technically, isn't it though? Gameweek 14 for the European. Is it? Hang on, fixture ticker here. So you'd get Gameweek 14 for Europe.
Yeah. And then they're out of the cup, aren't they?
And then it's over Europe till Gameweek 20, which is why I was kind of willing to go against European keepers now. But
yeah. And then you got Onana 4.2. But then you got Raya at 4.7. But then it's just getting daft, isn't it? I mean, Can you afford? I mean, there's teams on 60 million now, isn't there? So surely you can afford a better goalie now. But then if you want all premium midfielders, all premium strikers, can you afford an expensive goalie? It's a problem. So I'm guessing you're going to look for a cheap, apart from Forster, a cheaper keeper.
Yeah, well, I'm on Muric, and so I'm happy with that, to be honest. It's only now that Forster's come about that I'd probably, if I hadn't moved, I would probably go there, just so you can get like your Palmer and your more expensive players in.
I did look. Go on.
I was going to say, I think when I'd done that voice note for the hub, I sort of said if I was moving off Sells or Kelleher, Onana would be the premium one I'd go for at the minute if I was going at the higher price point. But I quite liked Verbruggen for Brighton because I think their fixtures look quite nice. He's 3.3, 5 points this week, even though he kept or let one in quite late. Or just Muric, I think. But yeah, now Forster's there. You go Forster over Muric, don't you?
What about a clean sheet Flecken?
It's his first one as well, isn't it? First clean sheet.
Yeah, 51 points he's on now. Only his first clean sheet, and they're still in the cup as well, Brentford. But it's just like it's just one of those. You're just skipping, you're jumping onto that one for a little bit, and then you're going to jump again later on. They got Leicester, Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea, Newcastle in the double in 15.
I didn't mind Fabianski. I was thinking about Fabianski before last week when I went to Murich, but it was a bit more. I can't remember. I'm not sure what he is now, but he was 2.2 last week. But I think he was getting a big rise. They're obviously still keeping that clean sheet at a minute against Newcastle, which was a bit unexpected, I thought. But yeah, I'd go Forster if you are going well cheap now. I think that's a bit of a gift there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much spoken about why we like Max Captain, but DT Phillips asking, going into 13, would you prefer to use Max Captain or goal bonus? Which one would you play if you had them?
Definitely, I would out the two. I'd play the Max Captain just because, like I said, there's a lot of red fixtures on the ticker for teams, and it's going to be hard to pick a captain. Obviously, Liverpool and Man City are playing each other, so that's good. You can't imagine. Well, might jinx them now, but I can't imagine like Salah or Haaland going off and scoring a hat trick or something in that fixture. And the goal bonus, I think the best time to play that now is Gameweek 16. Is that's over Christmas, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more better fixtures for Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Man United's got a decent double. So, yeah, Tottenham's got Forest in there with a Liverpool game. And then you got Chelsea's got Everton and Fulham, so Palmer will get that as a double. Arsenal's got Ipswich as well that week. So I think there'll be more goals than there will be in this double game week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I've got both available, and I'm looking at maybe 13 for the Max Captain and 16 for the goal bonus, and that is because we like Max Captain this week because I don't think the captaincy's clear cut. And like you said, it's hard to pick out which one will haul. I think there could be plenty of goals, but it's getting those captain points right as well. But yeah, game week 16, I was looking at maybe doing Haaland as my goal bonus captain. So hopefully he pulls his finger out by then. But yeah, it's mostly down to the captain, I think. But I don't think you can go wrong with either. I think there's going to be plenty of goals in game week 13. Roberto, bring in Joao Pedro and Matoma for a punt and good fixtures, or would you bring in Saka or Kulu?
If I had to bring in a pair of them, I'd have to be Saka and Kulu for me, just because they're better longer term holds, and Saka's got to be in your team definitely. But if you had the budget, I would go Saka and Joao Pedro for next week if you can do it. If you can't, then Saka Kulu.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Saka was incredible on Saturday. So good. It just seems like Ødegaard is what has unlocked it. It felt like Saka was getting doubled up on quite a lot, or it was really easy to mark him out of the game. But it looked quite early on that Forest maybe tried that on Saka, but then Ødegaard just kept getting loads of the ball and really hurting them. And so then as soon as they try and then sort of split their defending amongst the two of them, it become a lot harder. Saka looked brilliant. That goal was incredible that he scored. Looks really back on it. So I'd prioritise getting Saka back in, which means if it means getting Kulu as well, I'd do that, I think. Had you considered Ødegaard? I know it's not one of these questions here, but a lot of people were asking it, weren't they, in the Discord? And
yeah, that was one I was considering for transfer last week. So I was looking at it, but then I looked at the predictor and he was going up 0.1. And I was thinking, I want to try and get my budget up here, so I'll go for Martinelli. And Ødegaard ended up going 0.2, didn't he? So I probably would have gone for it if it was a 0.2 rise. But that's the thing. Obviously, and he could take penalties if he's playing because they were sharing it last season, weren't they? So I probably would have gone if I knew he was going up 0.2. I probably would have gone there.
Yeah, it was the price I think that was a little bit off-putting because he is quite steep, isn't he? 5.1 is kind of just a little bit it's pushing into that premium price, isn't it? Really.
Mm.
But yeah, it was an exciting watch. He did look good in the fixtures.
It'd only be a 1 week thing for me because
Yeah.
I was going to move him on again for Palmer. I just didn't want to get Palmer this week with him only on the single.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd definitely get Saka in. Miss Noopy has 2.7 million to spend on a defender. Do you have any top picks? 2.7.
I like the look of Stupinan for 2.3 million. With his fixtures, Southampton at home and Fulham away. And then if you want to hold him for Leicester, it's a decent fixture. And then hopefully get some price rise out of him for that double game week.
Yeah, I'll put him down. Despite the way he bantered me last season. Yeah, I'd put Dawson again if he's okay, if he's not ill still.
Not Tati Gomez.
Tito.
Tati in it.
No, it is Totti, but I listened to you lads.
Oh yeah. No, I've got a mate called Tito's, you see, and it's just
I liked it.
yeah.
I think it should stick, to be fair. Van der Berg, 1.8 million. If you were playing the price rises game, seems to play most matches. He's got Leicester and Villa. Or Pinnock 2.4. I talked Tony out of going Pinnock earlier in the season. He went on to score 2 in quick succession, didn't he? Yeah. Oh, Miss Snoopy can afford Romero at 3 million if she puts Forster in, so opens it up a little bit. Would you consider?
Didn't she say she likes Ben Davis though? 2.3.
Yeah, I think Dragason's ahead of him in the pecking order, isn't he?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, because he did the other week. He played Dragasin and Romero, didn't he? But they didn't get a good result. So
yeah, he does. Well, I was going to say that Dragasin doesn't fill me with confidence, but he just kept a clean sheet against City. So, where are we? Man. So thoughts on Man United assets now. Will the manager's 3-4-3 ever work? And is Mason Mount 2.6 really an option? A lot of extremes there.
Man United assets, yeah, still an option. Obviously, we'll get to see how they're doing midweek on Thursday, and that gives a bit more of a clue of what he can do with the team. Didn't look too good on the weekend, but it's only the first match. I would imagine he'll stick to his principles and keep going with a 3-4-3 for a while. And if it don't work, then he's got January coming up, and he'll buy some new players that will fit his philosophy. Mason Mount, yeah, good price. It's just a one to watch really for me. I'm not going to consider him yet. He's only just come off the bench, didn't he, for this match?
Yeah, I think you've got to see more, haven't you? When you've got Morgan Rogers, I know hasn't been great, has he, recently, but you'd still trust him at that sort of price point more than what we've seen of Mount.
Kulusevski.
Yeah, Kulusevski as well, around that same. There's plenty that you can trust more. I think that 3-4-3 is going to be loads different to the team that we saw yesterday. I thought the lineup looked a bit strange, actually. I sort of thought that Højlund would probably start as the striker, but Rashford did. I was probably surprised to see Evans in there. I thought the pairing in the midfield, Eriksen and Casemiro. Obviously, Casemiro is decent, but I didn't think Eriksen would be taking that role with Ugarte in the team. I wonder if a lot of it was also down to the international break, and he's only been working with a few players, hasn't he, so far? So I imagine this team's going to change a lot in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I think you've got to give it time, haven't you? Stick with what you've got, I think, for now. Up next, Lee. So he planned to have a front seven of Palmer, Saka, Foden, Bruno, Salah, Haaland, and one other, probably Pedro, going into next week. Feels like the optimal play with a max captain as well. Thoughts? Well, I'll go first because that is my front seven for next week. I've got them all but Pedro, and I think Pedro is going to be coming in. I have got options to get others like Cunha, but it just means going a little bit cheaper with one of my defenders. But yeah, I think that's a solid plan. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Pretty much same as mine. I've got Garnacho, but I'm a bit worried that he's gonna, I don't know, get like moved around and he might get less minutes. I'll have to see what he'll do in this Europa League game because I don't really want to play. It's going to be taken off early and stuff like that. I want like talismans.
Proper 180 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like Cunha. So maybe if I can get Cunha, I might do that. But don't mind
Pedro. That's the thing over Pedro, and he's still only got 68. I think it might have been 60 something. Still done the damage, didn't he? But
yeah,
you know Cunha's going to be on the majority of the game, don't you? Less chance of disappointment. What's been your best play of the season? Also from Lee. He has actually said I didn't see this when I took my notes, but he said, "What's been your best play of the season / the biggest mistake of the season?" I didn't see the mistake part. So for him, it was captaining Nkunku versus Barrow, but the mistake was starting the season with no Salah. What's yours, do you reckon?
Do you want to go first, and I'll try to think?
Yeah. I didn't do mistake, but hang on. I don't think I've had like a major one-off like best play, but I mean I went with Sells as my budget keeper from the start, and he was pretty solid. Like bought at 2 million, sold for 3, grabbed an assist, a few unexpected clean sheets like Liverpool, and so I was pretty chuffed with him. Still giving him a bit of heckling over at the Emirates the other day. Kulu as the enabler, 3 million. I'm pretty pleased with him, and starting with Maddison done well for me. I guess letting go of McNeil a little bit early was probably the low point. But overall, we're both having a pretty good season to start with, so things have gone pretty well. Just the general structure, I think, starting with Haaland and Salah worked pretty well.
I've done all right with my captaincies this year. I think I've picked pretty well. Done all right with that. Initially, enablers, Robinson, he's done really well, and Kamada did all right for me with the Carabao Cup fixtures. He seemed to do really well in them fixtures.
You was on Tim as well, weren't you?
Yeah, Tim was all right as well. Surname we can't say properly.
Robinham.
Yeah, he done all right, and he got quite a lot of rises out of them enablers. The transfer I did last week was really good as well, because I was going to bring in Solanke and Delict, I think it was, and Solanke ended up getting beaten by Ipswich, and I brought in Bruno Fernandes and brought in Tito, Tai Gomez, and I ended up getting like 25 points just from them 2 transfers, so that was pretty good. I try not to dwell on things I didn't do very well. There was one point in the season where Trossard. Yeah, Trossard was bad, but it was a right decision. But obviously, not the right decision. But like, it wasn't a bad decision because it was playing Southampton that week, and he was playing as a centre forward for Arsenal, with one of the best teams in the league. But he just seemed to have just gone a blip, because he was doing all right before then. He scored a couple of goals, and then his confidence just got sapped. He missed a penalty as well, didn't he, in the Champions League?
Yeah, that was it.
That was just like, I'm going to kill this dude.
I realised I was just looking back at my weeks because you can look at your transfer history, can't you? And there was the week that you and Tony said to me, "Don't sell Diaz," and and what did he get for us? He smashed it, didn't he? That week, I took him out and he got a 19-pointer. I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
You both kept him, and I said I fancy taking him out. And I had a run, didn't I? Where every time I took someone out, they hauled the week after. And I think that feeds into walkingfootball.com's question, because he said, regarding transfers, I feel like I pick all of the right players, but on most of the wrong weeks. If I drop someone, he often hauls the week after, and the player I bring in tends to have a poor average week. What do you do to break the cycle? And do you ever feel like you're doing the same thing or similar?
It sounds a little bit like you're just worrying a bit too much about price rises, and you're just taking out good players because they've had a bad week, and then jumping on someone who's had a good week, but they're not like top players that you know that are going to be consistent. So maybe don't do that. Like Gvardiol's projected to go down 0.3, but we know he's a top player. He's one of the highest scoring defenders in the game. I mean, I'm not that fussed about taking him out unless I need the money, but I'm not that fussed about taking him out at the minute. I'm just happy to keep him in there.
I feel like you have that luxury, don't you, by building the budget up? Like your budget's pretty good at the minute, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. I had a couple of weeks where I wasn't really bothered, and I was just picking players that I wanted. But then I ended up having to buy Totti Gomez because I didn't have enough money to get to Mazraoui last week. So it does. I think budget's quite important, actually. So if you can try and get a 0.3 rise, but someone you want a bit longer term, then try and do that.
Yeah, I feel like I've had this a few times. I do dwell on them a fair bit. Like it's happened to me quite a few times. I mentioned the McNeil thing at the start of the season, Diaz already, and it happened with my defender for about 3 weeks running. But I think as long as if you think the decision making is all right for it, like you're bringing someone out maybe because they've got like a bad fixture, and you're trading them for someone that's got a good fixture, that kind of thing. I feel like you just have to make peace with it. If it doesn't work out, at least you made the decision on the right thing. Like you could quite easily bring in someone who's got, I don't know. For example, this week we could look at Joao Pedro, and he's got a great fixture. And you could take out, I don't know, who's got a tough game coming up, but you could take someone out that's got a tough game, and the guy that's got the tough game could still haul, couldn't they?
Or like a Foden.
Yeah. Yeah, there could be someone that's had a really poor few weeks, and you take him out because he's got Liverpool next. He's not been delivering over the last few weeks. It's football. He could still haul. So as long as you make peace with the decision there, like the logic is behind it, I think you just got to know that you made the best possible decision. I think, but the only exception I'd have with that is world-class players. Because that's happened to me before, where I was trying to hop between Harry Kane and Salah, and it's happened with Watkins before. You're trying to hop around like the top players, but you just can't predict it. Like there's weeks where Salah will just score a hat-trick against Man United, or like Haaland could. It's not out of the possibility that Haaland could get a brace against Liverpool, is it really?
No. Yeah.
These top players can do it. So I think that's the only exceptions. And I think that's probably why we're willing to maybe, I guess people would disagree maybe that Foden's world class, but he's one of the top players in the game last year. I think that's why we're willing to give him a little bit more chance, even with a tough fixture, I think.
He's actually, has he got 3 goals in the Champions League this year, but he's not scored in the Premier League. So it's like people are looking at their FPL teams and going, oh, he's rubbish, but he's actually doing all right in Dream Team.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because the amount of most of us people that listen to this probably do listen to FPL stuff as well. And it is, you can get them confused, can't you, a little bit at times. if players are doing really well in Europe, for example. The same with Haaland, wasn't it? He's had a few goals in Europe and stuff, and I've heard FPL say, "Oh, he's blanked in all these games in a row." Yeah, that's the exception. I'd just say, like, world-class players just accept that the hauls can happen at any time, can't they? Saka, Liverpool, that looked a terrible fixture, and he just came back and banged, didn't he? But yeah, it's part of the game. It's annoying walking football, or Mr. H is it? But it happens. Roberto, should we lay off captain in Haaland for the foreseeable future? Do you think he's maybe struggling with chances because of lack of competition up front? He knows he's not getting dropped.
Don't know. I mean, I don't think I've captained him for this double with Liverpool and Forest, but I don't mind captaining him for the Crystal Palace and Juventus double. But obviously, there's other teams with decent fixtures as well. I probably won't captain him for another. Let's say maybe Gameweek 16. I might captain him. And it's the Christmas period. You got Villa away, Everton at home, and they haven't really got a good record at Villa either, have they? Lately.
No.
But yeah, they got Leicester in 17 in a single. I would not take him out my team anyway. I'd still have him in there because if he does go off and you haven't got him in your team at all, it's gonna hurt. Like last season, we mentioned it loads of times about what the Luton game. People sold him because he wasn't doing very well, and then he went and scored four or five. I can't remember now.
It's the fear factor, though, isn't it? We keep talking about it. It is scary to take him out.
It's class is permanent, isn't it? And form's temporary, so he could have a bad few weeks, and then do you think he'll go another 4 games or another 5 games without scoring? I can't see that.
No, and I'm not even. Well, I mean, I've not captained him every week. I've still had some of the Salah hauls as well, as my captain. But like, I don't think he's been bad. It's not like, oh God, what's happening? He's not getting any chances. He's been hitting the post, hitting the bar. He hit the bar against Spurs. He's having loads of chances. I would be concerned if he's not getting chances. The problem is at the minute, Salah's getting the chance, and every chance he's putting them in at the moment. So yeah, I don't think Haaland's actually been bad. It may even be, like you said, a bit of that FPL thing where in FPL you kind of have to have one or the other almost, and there is that talk of, well, is it worth having him if you're not going to captain him? But like, I'd much rather, I don't know, if I captain Salah one week and I've still got Haaland's hat-trick and he's not captained, I'd still rather have it than not.
Yeah.
I know you can spread the funds, but I just still don't think anyone's on. I think Salah and Haaland are just on another level, aren't they? Overall. So yeah, I think I would go against Haaland coming up, but I definitely won't be taking him out for sure. And yeah, I don't think he's struggling for chances. I think he's getting the chances, and I don't think he knows he's not getting dropped because he's not going to get dropped anyway, is he? If they had Alvarez now on the bench, are they going to be dropping Haaland for Alvarez?
No, they might miss a game or whatever.
Yeah.
If in the Champions League or something.
I don't think Pep's looking at these last few losses and going, do you know what? If I had a striker who could finish.
He didn't play against Spurs, did he, in the Cup? We kept him on the bench.
Yeah, but I think that was just keeping him fresh, wasn't it? Luke High, do you think Pedro's essential going into December? Risk of injury, but looks unbelievable and a must-have. Can he play 2 games a week? Must-have? Essential?
No. Not essential, but very interested in having him for this double game week. Yeah, like I said, I'm just a little bit more on Cunha than Pedro for me, but Yeah, Pedro's very good option this week. There probably won't be much points between them.
Yeah, not essential for me, but a great option and one I'm probably going to bring in. On the injury thing, it does feel like he's always injured, but I had a look
Yeah.
on Transfermarkt.
Yeah.
You can look at their injury history. He's only missed 9 games for Brighton, like ever at Brighton.
Oh, right.
He had a few for Watford, but yeah, he played 40 games last season for Brighton.
Mm.
I think the frustration came because some games he was starting on the bench. One week Ferguson would start, then he'd come on, and I think it was the starts that was getting on our nerves a little bit. But yeah, he's actually been fit most of the time for Brighton. Yeah, I think he'll be all right. It's just a depth thing, isn't it, compared to Cunha? Quickly back on Haaland, like Nobles is saying, Haaland, he scored 2 goals from an XG of 8. If that was Nunes, he'd be slated. But like Nunes hasn't scored 50 in a season.
Yeah.
It's consistently as well, just doing ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, just look at Haaland's scoring record.
I think it was I saw that Haaland normally overperforms his XG as well, so it makes it even more crazy that he's. Yeah, you've just got to put it down to luck, I think. But yeah, don't let me sway you. If you want to take Haaland out. We've got Noble's question up next as well. So now everyone will be playing over Christmas on a level playing field. Who are your must-haves? Or do you see the same players as essential as to not mess up your team come January? And obviously, come January, because we've got, after this next Gameweek 14 European double, we've got no Europe until week of the 18th of January. So we've got all the way up until Gameweek 20 with no European football. So anyone that you think's essential over that sort of time?
No one's essential. Like I say, I like Cunha a lot. He just looks brilliant. Talisman of the team. Wolves fixtures are decent. From the non-European teams, obviously Isak has got a lovely double from Gameweek 15. They're playing Leicester at home and Brentford in the Cup. Then they go into Ipswich away and Villa at home. So, yeah, decent there. Not Bournemouth, maybe a Bowen from game week 16. They have Brighton at home, Southampton away. Obviously, Joao Pedro. Are you putting McNeil back in?
No, we said before this, didn't we? He's got another maximum bonus in that last game in a 0-0.
Yeah,
he's smashing it on this new system. I know you said no one's essential, but I still want Salah, Haaland, Saka. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
for this.
I thought you meant from the non-European players.
Yeah, I don't think any are essential, are they? But there's definitely some good ones. I guess we're all going to have Palmer, I think. Isak. And we've mentioned Cunha and Pedro to death. But 2 that we might have forgotten about. I was just looking something up, so I don't know if you just mentioned these or not, actually. Eze should be back fairly soon.
Yeah. It was just in my thoughts there, but I was just thinking, when is he back from injury?
Yeah, I'm sure I heard he's not far off. I'll double check that. But one that's also, I think he's got 1 more game suspension. Kudus. I think he misses Arsenal. And then I think he's back for Leicester, game week 13. I think
Great.
Yeah, unlucky. He's missed my team and he's got you. Hey, but you could counter him if you get Moyes.
Yeah.
You want Moisey?
I don't know, mate. I've heard so many different things over the weekend. Like West Ham fans saying he's crap, but he won him a European Cup, so I don't know. I was quite up for Moisey, yeah, but like listening to West Ham fans talk about him, they're not giving me much.
It's just steady in
optimism.
it though. Like,
Yeah. So
I don't think you'll worry about going down with him.
yeah, if we get Moisey, I think he'd be happy to stay at Leicester. You know what I mean? I don't think he'd be looking to jump ship. But if we got like a Potter or a Ruud van Nistelrooy, as soon as a big job, they're a bit like Maresca. They'll just. It's just like a, what do you call it? It's not a
Stopgap.
Not a stopgap, but like a
Stepping stone.
stepping stone. Yeah. So they'll go to Leicester, do a little bit of Leicester, and then they'll move on, and we're back to square one again, and looking for another manager. So yeah, probably Moisey, probably a bit better one to build something.
He'll have Face and Vestergaard smashing it.
Need to get rid of that fast man. Yeah, he's a donkey.
Doing keepy uppies, wasn't he?
He thinks he's like Bobby Moore. He gets on the ball. He thinks he can do like
Juggling it on his head.
Crazy.
I was going to put Bruno Guimaraes on the list because he always does. I mean, over this period, when we know that every team is going to play the same amount of games, people like Kudus, all the bonus guys, I think, become good again. Like Bruno doesn't seem to have the attacking returns of last season, but he's usually a good pick. He's not done it tonight. Looking at the bonus, he's missed bonus completely tonight, but Newcastle must have had a bit of an off day.
How's he been doing on the bonus recently? Because a couple of weeks ago we pulled him up and we noticed he was doing really well.
Yeah, he'd been getting like free bonus quite regularly, hadn't he? Total bonus. He's dropped off. He's got less than McNeil. He's on 19 bonus. So he's only got 5 players above him. McNeil, Tielemans, Savinho, Maddison, Gravenberch. So he's still doing pretty well. And Bowen apparently smashing it. Wisby in the chat saying Bowen's had a really good game this evening. So again, might be one to watch for the upcoming run, but he's just a little bit pricey, isn't he?
Yeah, striker on the game as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that though. If you were like chucking a max captain or something, you wanted a little bit different. It could be someone to go for. It's just the fixture's not great this week with them playing Arsenal. Who we got left? One more. But just to round off that question, Nobbles, I still think, is the bulk of your team still going to be like Arsenal, Liverpool, City, apart from the odd few?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely best players from the best teams, best strikers from the best teams, best defenders from the best teams.
Yeah, you can get the odd talisman, can't you, from a team outside? But overall, I think they're the best players for a reason, or at the best teams for a reason. Solo asking best 5 defenders for 4 million or less. I couldn't actually get 5. Shall I give you what I got?
Yeah.
So I think Urian Timber at 3.7 is a lovely price. If he gets a clean sheet in midweek as well, again, the fixtures look really good for Arsenal, and he's like the cheapest way in. Probably going to put Calafiori in the same bracket, and this is not just my Arsenal bias here, but yeah, 3.7 and 3.9. With the injuries we've got, I think they look pretty steady for starts now as well, as long as they can stay fit. So I think they're probably the highest quality you're going to get for that price. Dullo at 4 million. I mean, if he carries on, I know our United Discord members have battered Dullo, but he still always seems to do okay. Like 5 points again yesterday. Just seems to somehow get tackles or something that gets you points. So I quite like him. And then you mentioned Robinson. I know European football's coming to an end. Maybe not for this week or whatever, but I had to look back and he's been 5.5 average, Robinson. even still is pretty solid. 6 points against Wolves in that battering they took. 8 points for his clean sheet against Palace, and then he didn't get the clean sheet in what game was it? Brentford. They lost 2-1, but he still got 3 bonus and an assist again. So he could be an outside different player at 3.5. But yeah, the rest was a little bit of a struggle, really. Probably the Arsenal. I think this is a good time for the Arsenal ones.
Yeah, I agree on the Arsenal ones. Even though Man City haven't been doing very well, I think after this game week, the coming, I think Rico Lewis is still a good player to have in your team. 3.4 million at the minute, and probably we're going down, so you'd be able to get him a bit cheaper than that. Udogie at Spurs, he's been playing in Europe quite a lot as well. He's only 3.5 million. I think he'd be quite a good pick. But you don't know what the Spurs are going to do you? Is they going to get a clean sheet against Man City or get smashed against Ipswich? So, but he's good for bonus points as well. So, if you're getting him cheap at 3.5, and he's going to go up probably, I think it's decent. I think you covered it pretty well though there.
Yeah, there was quite a few that was like on the sort of 4.1 and 4 million as well. But I mean, you can keep an eye out, can't you? If there's, like you said, on the City guys, but if there's a few that are around about 4 and they have a bad week or bad midweek, that could be the time to jump on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what United do longer term with a few more coming back.
Yeah, Delict 3.2 as well. And Mazraoui, he's only 4.1. So I think you've got to consider him.
Yeah.
I was looking at Trent's injury there. It looks like he should be back for the weekend. So I was looking at Conor Bradley for 2.6, but if it's not worth it if Trent's back in training.
Cool. Yeah, you'd be tempted to get Trent back, or you wait it out now a little while?
Oh, I'll wait it out now with the fixtures. Get this double red game week out of the way. Newcastle away with Man City.
That's a tough one.
Maybe considering for game week 14 after this double Premier League game week. But yeah, Trent is very, very good player to have in your team. I know he hasn't really been getting attacking returns, but he will get some eventually. And then everyone will be clamouring to get him back in.
So that's a tough. I said Newcastle away. That's a tough one. I mean, they done us, didn't they? They beat Arsenal, and they beat City as well. Was it? No, draw 1-1. And then they've just lost to West Ham. Struggling West Ham. Strange.
Yeah.
Have to see what happens.
You look at 14. You got Everton, Girona, Fulham, Southampton, in 15, and then it's Tottenham, Leicester, in 16. It's quite a nice run. Double game weeks for Liverpool.
Kanate's on 4 yellows, but yeah, you'd be looking at the fullbacks, wouldn't you? Well, full back now, really, because Robertson just doesn't look at it anymore, does he? Strange.
Simicas plays as well, sometimes.
Right. Do you want to quickly do leagues?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah, it's midweek anyways, so we're midway through a game week, so things are constantly changing. But let's quickly blast through them. Cash League. Top 3 or top 4? Top 3 in it.
Top 3.
A. Gregory in 3rd. Myself in 2nd. I've been knocked off top spot by M. Tavares, who had. I thought he had Salah captain. He actually did have Haaland captain this week. But yeah, top of the shop now in the Cash League. I think it's Mark Tavares. So well played. You got the Patreon?
Yeah, Patreon Cash League. We got Oz in 3rd, Lee Hooper in 2nd, and Mark Tavares in 1st.
Always taken top spot in a few of them. Tag team, we've got in third G Walker and Lee Hooper. He's on a bit of a hot streak, Lee. So it's fired him up on the tag team, it looks like, as well. Just overtaken Andy and our very own Tony. Myself and Connor in second. And then Paul McNulty and Andrew Ferguson in first this week.
Nice.
What else we got? Is that it?
That's it, yeah.
Come on, where are you on the lead? The ultimate?
I believe I'm third now in the ultimate leaderboard.
Nice. Just
I think
looking
I think I was top of the Telegraph of all the managers. I haven't checked it, so true. I'll check it now.
I'm still down in 14th. I'm useless at Telegraph, man.
It doesn't matter, Telegraph, because it's early days, and then everyone will smash all their transfers when it's like 3-for-1s and.
Yeah, but not this lot. These are the ultimate managers.
That's what I mean. Later in the season, they'll start smashing their transfers. Yeah, I'm still top of the Telegraph.
Nice.
Dropped down in Dream Team to 8th and 20th in FPL.
Right. Well, the rest of the game week still to go. We'll have to confirm it, but it's going to be a Friday deadline for the next one. So we'll have to confirm what we're doing for the next deadline stream. Then we'll be podding at the weekend after that. If you do want to become one of our channel members on YouTube, just have to hit that join button or patreon.com/DreamTeamTonic to become a Patreon member. Discord access, early access to podcasts. You can join us live in the chat. And yeah, exclusive article. You got an article coming out not this week after.
Yeah, and we have the differential articles every week as well.
Yeah. So yeah, check that one out. Cheers everyone for joining us in the chat as well. Now time to go and catch up on that West Ham game. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Cheers everyone.